There you go.
Hello.
All right.
Good morning.
So I moved here about 6 years ago from Austin, but I'm originally from Chicago.
Hey,
Hey,
Chicago.
Chicago.
Hey, Austin.
Hey, Austin. So basically,
Sorry.
I do lead gen and email and round. Go ahead.
Put that on, or hand me the mouse and I'll take care of all that.
I'm good.
Okay.
Basically, I do email and LinkedIn automation, roundtable automation. The whole idea is to get leads top of funnel to people that want to get leads versus having to go to trade shows or hire kids, which are called sales development reps. The reason why internal approach on sales development reps is that they're just out of school. They don't have any idea what they're doing yet, and they usually want to become a salesperson within 6 to 12 months. So it's great they have folks that want to do lead gen and get their feet wet, but they're not necessarily
Terribly sorry.
keep talking.
At the clock now.
Good thing we're recording this up too. Left arrow.
So we go back now. So yeah, internally it's great to have sales development reps. I mean, all the software companies have it because they want their sellers selling. You know, they want the lead gen people getting leads for them. But the thing is, they're usually someone who's out of college that wants to basically get to an AE job. So great idea, but it's not. It's kind of inconsistent in a lot of training. There's external companies that are based around the world where they hire kids and they're doing lead gen from you, and they basically, again, they're not well trained in the idea of how to get lead gen. Making phone calls is really hard to do. So what I built was a repeatable and scalable approach to getting leads. I have about 25 years of enterprise sales background. This other way if I can. So I've worked for companies like TechMate, which is an IT company, took them from 250K to 2.8 million in 12 months. Took Falato leads to about $70,000 a month in the last 12 months. The nickname Full Throttle came from a Marine. I'm an Air Force guy, so if you know anything about Marines and Air Force, they're originally not giving Air Force guys a nice name. So that's really who I am, kind of my background. So when you hire me to do automation, a lot of it's automation, but you're also getting me to kind of be your strategic guide in that. Also, when I worked in HR tech, I sold to big companies like Union Bank of California, AT&T, and worked for companies like Monster, Symphony Talent, and John Blake. So there's about 25 years of enterprise sales background here, and I have about almost 950 million people in my database. So I use about 250 million people in email and about 720 million people in LinkedIn. The whole idea is if you can touch enough people with the messages that you wanted to basically build a meeting, that's how you get your discovery calls. There's about 130 references on LinkedIn. So if you want to look who I am, what I do, who I stand for, you know, there's a lot of that. And if you click on, you could get this deck pretty easy. You click on any of these guys' names or girls' names and see what they wrote. There's about 20 on Full Throttle. So you can see all that. I get asked to speak, just kind of like what I'm doing here. Like what is top of funnel? How do you get in touch with people? How do you get people to book a meeting that's more of a sales qualified lead than a marketing qualified lead? So lots of these videos are on my deck, so you can click on those. I even got onto a company and broadcast in Australia. There's about 250 million people in the email database. So the whole idea is just to go, okay, what are the personas, what are their titles, what is industry, how much revenue? How do I go about getting a hold of those folks so I can send them maybe a Calendly link, what we do and how we do it, A/B test it, kind of like Moneyball, if you ever watched Moneyball. Analytics will tell you what to do and what not to do. So if you can book a meeting, send out 2,000 emails a day and not have to pay for the data, you get meetings. It's just a number. It's a numbers game, if anything. So I get about 15 to 30% open rates. Send out 20 to 30,000 emails a month. There's a lot of charge graphs for me to kind of share with you to see what's working and what's not. these are kind of the filters. So I even got buying intent, like, are they looking for software in the procurement area or finance area? There's tons of ways to kind of divvy up the data, just like Zoom info. If you've ever heard of Zoom, Zoom info is about $1 per name. You don't have to sit there and pay for that and then pay for someone to kind of work it and so pay for someone to send out the emails. Most people will get like a Zoom info, get HubSpot, start sending out emails, and they'll start ruining their domain. You cannot send out mass emails on your domain without hurting your domain. So you really understand like how to send out emails and not wreck things. This is an example of a company in LA that I help. You could see that I'm getting 40, 50, 80% open rate. So basically, they're a tech company that does streaming, for events, but it's they don't have a huge total addressable market. But again, if you know what to say and how to say it, why it matters to their audience, then we can get you guys meetings. And the whole idea is to send out enough emails or LinkedIn. So that's about 2,000 emails a day there. A lot of people will use Salesforce, HubSpot, other CRMs. This platform that I use connects to all the CRMs, so you can see all the data, all the activity that goes out there, and again, make sure that what I'm doing and what I'm saying is actually happening. On LinkedIn, you could only send about 100 invites a week. It's very hard to kind of use LinkedIn. I could do 150 invites or emails a day. The whole idea is, again, the more emails, the more emails, the more LinkedIn you can send out, the more chances you have to get meetings. So I have a way to automate that approach. If you have Sales Navigator, then you could build lists and I could scrape those. The whole idea is automate. There's bots, there's automation out there. Doing things manually yourself is not really the fastest way to get things done. I really do focus on B2B. I don't do like a B2C approach. So just so you know where I focus in on. I also do roundtables, which is kind of like what we're doing here, but the roundtables are all mostly Zoom based. I use LinkedIn to basically use that to drive people to show up. And the whole idea is like, this is one that I do for me. Let's talk about B2B sales and marketing roundtables. I get 150 people to sign up for this stuff. I do that for my companies that I work with. So I have them have marketing roundtables. The whole idea is to what works, what doesn't, what do you want to get from this meeting? What do you want to give? Instead of me coming up here and preaching on these roundtables, it's really more about networking. Everybody talks about themselves and what they could do, and we break out in rooms. So it's a very good way to kind of use LinkedIn, use Zoom, and use email to drive people to events like this as well. So this is kind of a breakdown of cost. I charge about $5K a month, which is what you pay a new sales rep, new sales. I get rid of this.
You can click on more. Click on the more all the way on the right, and then hide the floating meeting. There you go.
So if you look at what it costs to basically do hire a person, it's about $5K a month, and you have to have someone manage them. Then Zoom info is 50 cents to $1. So it actually costs a lot more to hire someone just out of college to do lead gen, and then you have to teach them a lot, and then you have to pay for the data, then pay for the CRM. So I look at it as I do what someone would do out of college, but I have 52 years on this earth and 25 years of sales experience, and I know how to do a repeatable, scalable process. So it gets meetings, and that's kind of, I get about 15 to 30 meetings a month, I would say on average. So I basically set up an email domain. That means we don't use your main domain. We don't go to HubSpot, hook up Gmail and go, let's do sequencing. Let's go out and get meetings. That's great. That's what I used to do. And you start ruining your domain. The emails start going to spam. So you got to know what DKIM, DMARC, SPF, MX records, all that stuff does. And set up a separate domain to send emails. Otherwise, you're going to really ruin your domain. On LinkedIn, you'll get kicked off of LinkedIn if you start using any automation platforms. You got to have a platform that someone knows how to use. It also looks like that somebody is actually operating it. So the one I use, it's pretty intense. It actually looks like you're typing, moving a mouse around. It doesn't, LinkedIn can't really tell. I have an email engineer that understands how to do this. He actually works at Coca-Cola too as well. So he keeps people out of Coke as far as trying to get in and virus. And then I'm basically somebody that's been doing this for 25 years. So I know how to connect you with the right people. I also have a recruiting background. So if your company's growing, I can also reverse look up and find people for your company as well. But that's kind of how I charge. It's a retainer-based model. 6,000, 5,000 a month for 6 months, or $4,500 a month for a $4,500 a month for 12 months. So really the deliverables is automate your LinkedIn, automate your email, have a round table probably twice a month. You probably don't want to do more than twice a month. And then if you don't have a CRM right now, you should look at HubSpot. It's a pretty good CRM for free, actually. That's what I was using. I just went up to the starter package, which is $28 a month. So you want to track like who opened your decks, who's reading your emails, track your deals, you know, all those notes. And it connects to about 15 million different other apps. So that's kind of my background. And that's my contact information if you want to get a hold of me. And if you want my deck or my card, I have my card here as well. Questions, answers?
A lot of questions.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna ask questions.
Okay.
Just me. I am curious, how do you find the buyer's intent? I know that's a big thing. I had a client who all they did was find buyer's intent, so that's part of the email package.
So the buyer's intent is part of the platform I use. They just bought a company that's buyer's intent.
Okay.
So let's say like someone looking to buy HR software. So I can pick that, or someone looking for sales CRM software. I use that. I also go and look at trade shows. I go, who's attending that trade show? Those are usually the people that I want to talk to. So I scrape that list, put it in my database, and then enrich it with contacts and say, hey, are you going to be at the Gartner IT Symposium? Like I just went yesterday. Then I walked every booth and introduced myself. It's the old school way too. It's like, you got to fish where people fish. Does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of quick things. First, kudos on really doing something amazing in a very crowded space.
Yeah, it's very crowded.
Folks doing this,
Yeah.
And a lot of folks there's a lot of BS out there, and a lot of people don't know what they're doing. So you're doing something right. There's an HR tech company that desperately needs you, so I want to talk with you after.
Mhm. And I pay referrals, so already knows that. Pay 10% of whatever gross is.
That's fine. I was thinking of client acquisition as 3 distinct portions. There's the branding and messaging. Then there's the marketing aspect, which is the directional amplifier. It takes the message, makes it louder, puts it in front of more people, and then the sales conversation. Are you doing anything on the branding messaging sides, or do you have like these set things that you just know work, free things for people, and have someone come and do the copywriting? How do you get the message that goes out to all these folks?
I asked them to send me their messaging, what they've been using.
Okay.
Usually it's more,
Buying them too.
well, usually it's marketing. So it's me. And I say, that's stop me, because you're going to wee over yourself.
Yeah.
So it's the things you got to think about. Who cares? So what? Why you send me this? What does this do for me? Who have you worked for? What's the fear of missing out? You're not selling. You're trying to get a meeting. Then you're going to understand, okay, so what brought you to this meeting? That's the first question I asked you. Like, so you took a meeting with me. What kind of grabbed your attention? Just shut up and listen.
And there's so many messages out there that just don't, they don't drive excitement or curiosity to even bring them in for them to say yes to a meeting.
They're just talking about features and functions, and that doesn't work anymore. So if I can get here and here,
Yeah.
or talk about like, you know, I just worked with Boeing on this, or worked with UCF on that. I use that. I mean, like you can see on my emails that talk about NFL. NFL is not someone I did lead gen for. NFL is when I worked at another startup and I closed a $400,000 deal at a 7-man company out in New Zealand. That's part of me. So if you can sell yourself a little bit in your pitch, then it's a good idea.
Okay.
Okay, good.
John has a question on the chat. Do you have a try it before you buy an option instead of a 6 to 12 month contract?
It takes about a month to warm up the subdomain, so you gotta spend time doing that. You could send 50 emails the first day, 100 emails the next day, so it takes about a month to warm up the email domain. The LinkedIn, you could send 150 invites a day, but there's really like a 3-month out of the 6-month is what I do. But if you hire someone for 3 months, whether you're hired a contractor or a person, and that's your going in approach, it's really not a good fit for me, because we're a partner. You know, we got to work together. And if you think snapping your fingers in it and where's my leads in 2 weeks going to happen, it's probably not a good fix. You gotta look at, like, if you hired someone, they have to get to know what you're doing. You got to A/B test. We got to warm up the domain. We got to make sure it works. Now, it doesn't work for everybody. If you make websites and you're a developer and you have 2 clients, and I send out 20,000 emails a month, you might get a couple, but I'm not branding you and getting you leads. That's a double-edged sword. So you want to have some sort of something to grab you. I think, did you already ask him? Or you had your hand up for a while? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to be sure you were calling on me.
Yeah.
Michael, phenomenal presentation. Thank you so much for coming and sharing what you do with us. You've been doing it. I got a couple of discovery tech questions. You've been doing it for how long?
About 2 years, and I grew up to about 70,000 a month so far.
And the 250 emails that you refer to, is that, I guess that's collectively?
250 million international.
Yeah, so that's all your clients along with you, right? Or that's
It's
just-
250 million contacts that I could send out emails to.
Okay.
And then
sorry,
720 million on LinkedIn. So about 1 billion people is my total addressable market.
Awesome. And then I'm looking at, the cost of your service. So that means majority of your companies are already at $500,000 or more a year, correct?
I would say, yeah, if you're pre-seed, you're incubated, you're not paying yourself, it's pretty hard to see, like, am I gonna be able to pay Michael? So I really don't go after the acceleration
Yeah.
type companies. Sometimes I'll go, hey, you can't afford 5, let's do 4,000 a month and pay me 10% commission, but I don't really go below 4 just because it's not worth my time. I got plenty. I do lead gen, so I have 10 Zoom meetings a day
Wow.
pitching, and usually about 4 or 5 are good. Like, let's do something.
That's phenomenal.
So it's good. It's a good close ratio.
Yeah, so is it really for a startup community or a community where, like, a lot of us are micro entrepreneurs, that we're trying to hit 20-30 grand ourselves a month, let alone, pay you.
Yeah.
Marketing wise, budget should be around 8% up to maybe 15-20%. And at that cost,
Yeah.
for a smaller entrepreneur who wants to grow, I need you.
Yeah.
Are there any finance options, or are you?
There's
partnering
like
with any?
You got to spend money to make money.
Absolutely.
Adage.
Absolutely.
If your average monthly recurring money revenue is like 250 to 500 bucks, it's probably not the right fit. To be honest with you, you have to have a big enough price tag for it to make sense of hiring somebody. But other option is, who are you going to help? Who are you going to find to help you?
Yeah.
And it's going to be someone that just graduated college and they have a great attitude, but no knowledge yet.
Yeah.
And then they have to pay Zoom. Zoom's going to be 50 cents to $1 per name. If I'm doing 5,000 contacts a month, that's 4 to 5 grand just in data.
Yeah.
Not me helping you at all. So I don't feel really guilty, or not guilty, but there's some people I can help, some people I can't. If you have a great product, then there's always a way to win. But I'm usually not the one that's going to be like, hey, you have an insurance company, you're looking to go after, you're going after a commercial building. It's a commodity. It's hard for me to break through. You might not be happy, and then I don't want to be someone that's taking that money's in your pocket. You're like, here, Michael. You got to have some sort of a revenue covenant.
But you do provide that revenue, but like you said, it's a month to 3 months out potentially. So I know of an affiliate that might be a good link, and they would finance that 50 grand. I think they go up to 50 grand. They may go higher for someone like you.
Mm.
And then that way your clients can set up with them and then you get paid up front, and then they'd be able to get on your program.
You're welcome to do that.
Yeah.
Good.
So I have my company is a startup, and we have 200,000 customers that we cannot email to because the portal company basically says we're GDPR compliant, and so we lost the ability to get.
Who was that?
Valve.
Valve. Okay.
From Steam.
Yeah, I use SendGrid, so I don't have that issue.
Right. So you mentioned scraping emails. I'm assuming that's predominantly how you were managing to get so many on your
No,
list.
I use like a Zoom info. don't build things. I use different tools
Got it.
and I know how to use it better than faster and cheaper because I have 25 clients.
Okay.
So, but I have not built my own database and because the database gets old within 30 to 60 days.
Right.
So if you don't have a subscription to something like Zoom or these other platforms, I use a different one that I don't tell people what I use.
Mhm.
But it's always been updated. Then you got to verify the emails.
Right.
If you have a high bounce rate, you're going to get kicked out of anything.
Mhm.
And then if you use like Gmail or Office 365, they'll actually shut your inbox down
Mhm.
because you'll see people that use like Zoho or HubSpot or some other platform, Milkshake.
Mhm.
And then I used to, why are my emails going to spam? I'm talking to my counterpart that I've been working with for 5 years.
Right.
Well, you just sent out 10,000 emails and half of them bounced.
Mhm.
So, constant contact's a pain in the butt. You got to know how to do. My email engineer is worth it in gold just to set up your DKIM, DMARC, SPF records, MX records, all that
Mhm.
stuff. So,
Okay. And can you look at the million or whatever contacts that you have and identify a target market for whoever that you have as a customer?
yeah, that's the whole filter in there showing.
Right.
Including the buying intent. It's like, let's not just throw stuff at the wall. Let's make sure we're going right after tier one.
Mhm.
I need to close these guys. Tier two, nice to have. Tier three is smaller companies that might have a faster sales cycle.
Mhm.
So there's ways of doing it. I mean, I've been selling from large to small for 25 years. So
Sure.
I'm not just an automation guy. I have a consultation approach, but realistically, I'm like this FedEx
Right.
for automation.
Right.
So there's a couple there. They've been holding.
Do that, and then we got one online, and then I gotta give you the final question.
Okay, I'm Russell. Then who wants?
I just have a suggestion for people that are just starting out, can't necessarily afford them, go find 10 leads and get 10% off each one, and then you got your money and there you go.
Again?
Huh?
So you get 10% off
Yeah.
your money.
Right.
Yeah, if you give me like not always.
Like people that just starting out don't have the money, go out and get a bunch of referrals for you and then you
Yeah, that's the truth because there's a lot of people like that I get these calls. They're like, I do counseling or I do this, and they're not big enough really to hire me. But they say, Michael, I know a company that could use you, and then that's 60 grand for the year. I give you $6,000 for just passing the name.
do that 10 times and you can afford it.
Great idea.
Two-part question. Number one, how many emails does it take before somebody actually responds?
That's a loaded question. Every company's different.
Yeah.
I would say,
Bombarded with so many leads and so many emails a day.
yeah, it's about with 20,000 emails a month, which is about 6,000 uniques a month. It's probably 10 to 20 meetings a month. But I represent your brand, so it depends on what your brand resonates in the marketplace.
Can I bring you leads?
You could bring the leads and enrich them and say, okay, which ones are, because you want to verify, you don't want a high bounce rate, otherwise you're going to have domain issues.
Right.
There's so many things that can go wrong that you guys don't know that I've already done and lost. So you lose, you learn, just like in jiu-jitsu, which is what I do too. You get choked out, you're like, oh, I'm not going to do that again.
Played an email for a long time and he's telling the truth.
Okay. Final question. What can we as a community do for you?
Well, my give and get is my give is to give you knowledge as much as I can, and then hopefully, they could bring referrals or me work with you. And then get is basically if you don't have yourself something that you can use me for, but like he was saying, there's always clients that you may could use me, so. I do a lot of software companies, a lot of tech companies, a lot of SaaS companies. They're usually they're probably in the seed round, or they're revenue positive. I mean, if they're not paying themselves, it's very personal. And then they're stressed out working with anybody. Like, this is my last $3,000 and $4,000. That's not a good fit for me. I'd rather live a happier life. So yeah, definitely. I try to be as more compatible as much as I can. If you have a really great product and I can drop my fees and take a commission a little bit, but still have to pay for data.
Now we're talking.
Yeah. But it's not half off. So just don't get all crazy.
Well,
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so you mentioned Zoom Info. The reason they have that capability is they bought the client that I worked with. I no longer work.
Who was that?
I can't remember their names.
Start Discover Org?
No, it was like Everstring, I think.
Yeah, like the one thing about Zoom Info or Discover Org, you use their data and if you stop using it, they'll say, make sure you take it out of your systems. They put little nuggets in there. If you start using it, they'll actually sue you for what the deal could have been worth versus what you stole.
Boy.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're slimy.
All right, next up is Rob McKenzie of Zovations Inc.
How's everybody doing?
Very good.
I feel like I need to wake up. But I went to since 4:45, couldn't woke up, couldn't go back to sleep. My company's Zovations, and this is actually my parent company of my storytelling company. But the company I partnered with, and I was up in Atlanta about a few weeks ago, and I met this guy, and he was partnering with this company called Bottom Line Concepts. And they have been for 14 years, they have been working with tax recovery for a lot of Fortune 100, Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 companies. And when the employee retention credit came out as part of the CARES Act, they got involved in that full time. So what is ERC? So it's a stimulus program that has set aside grant money for companies to be rewarded for maintaining W-2 employees, profit and nonprofit businesses. Now, this was different on PowerPoint. Next time I'll develop in Google Slides. On the average, so what happens is part of the CARES Act, any company with 5 or more employees is eligible to receive tax credit in the form of a grant back from the government. As averages about $10,000 employees, could be up to $26,000. This is for the quarter 4 in 2021 and the first 3 quarters, or quarter 4 of 2020 and the first 3 quarters of 2021. So really no limit on funding. That's hundreds of billions of dollars, and you can qualify in a lot of ways. Decreased revenue is one way, but then also there's all these different ways to qualify for this. And so the reason I'm telling you this is that I know that, does anybody in here own a company that has 5 or more employees right now? Did one? I know it's not you, but there's the cool part about this is coming up. So, if we have reduction in services, if you had to change your hours, how many restaurants had to change their hours? Okay, so all of them, right? They are all, even if they didn't lose revenue, there's all kinds of ways that you can get this done. So all kinds of businesses are eligible for this. And so what happens is with Bottom Line Concepts, all I'm responsible for is to give them a lead. That's it. Okay.
Have to share the screen.
So I'm responsible for lead gen. They do everything else. Okay, and wait for this to come back up. And to restart it. Presentation. Oh, there's a mouse. Is it-
Down.
There you go.
I couldn't see the screen.
Yeah.
So I do that. I give them a name. They do everything else. Okay, so they take care of, I set up an onboarding appointment. It's done through, I'll show you, it's done through a calendar link, and then they take over the whole process. So Bottom Line's Concepts have been doing tax recovery for 14 years. 18 months ago, they switched their full attention to ERC funding. It is a huge, huge opportunity. They have a whole bunch of attorneys and accountants. They've helped 13,000 plus businesses already get their funding. these are the clients that they have at Bottom Line Concepts. We're not talking small fries, you know, Rolex, McDonald's, New York Yankees, they just signed on. These are people that they've actually done work for in tax recovery and or the ERC credits. So actual checks that business owners have received, 100,000, 96,000. These are monies back for employee credit. Think about a restaurant, you know, that if it is 10,000 per employee, restaurants have what, 30, 40 W-2 employees? They get $10,000 per employee back at 30 employees. That's $3 million. That's a huge payday for them. So all I do is I refer clients to Bottom Line Concepts, and that's it. This is the submission form that you go through for referring a client, and then they take you through to a Calendly system. You set up appointments, you put in similar information again, and that's it. So how it works as far as the referral partners, a 200-person company, $10,000 average refund per employee. The business gets $2 million. There's a 25% fee. I'll explain that in just a minute. The referral partner gets 10% of the referral fee, so you make 50 grand. So let me I'm gonna try this again.
You hit Shift Control Alt H.
So let me, am I on somebody's?
I'm trying to kill it. Sorry.
But that's okay.
There we go.
Let me give you an example. My partner that I work with at Bottom Line Concepts, she was just telling me yesterday that they had someone talk to her and they said, yeah, my CPA did this for me. And what a huge mistake, because the CPA, it's 160 pages of regulations from the IRS for this program. So you think a 25% fee is hefty, right? But in reality, this guy's getting fined and penalized and everything up the gazoo, and it's going to take almost everything that he got back from the government to cover the fines and the penalties. And so the amount of risk that's involved for having that everyday CPA take this on is kind of like going to Jiffy Lube and saying, okay, I need my supercharger taken care of, my turbo, and I need my valves cleaned and, or, you know, checked, and I need to have a new crankshaft put in. Would you trust Jiffy Lube with that? No. They work on, they're mechanics, they work on a car, but you wouldn't trust them. And so there's a huge risk involved with having a normal everyday CPA go over something that's 160 pages in length and all the regulations. Okay, I've lost keyboard control.
Yes, spelling error #1 there.
Oh, good. I always screwed up somewhere. So you can become a referral partner. So I make 10% when I sign up another referral partner. It's a one-level affiliate program, so I would get 5% of the commission, and you would get 10%. So if you make 50 grand, I make 25 grand. That's not a bad deal. Okay. I've set up my own website at Zovations to go ahead and go through this. Here's a simple link. You can go ahead and hit that QR code. The reason I'm offering this and the reason I want to talk about it is that I have been, for 28 years now, I've been an entrepreneur, and I have seen people come across things and you think, oh, that's too good to be true, right? I've sat on this for 3 weeks and I've done research on it, and it's not too good to be true. This one is actually real. And there's a guy out there that's been doing this for 15 months. He's already received 4.7, he's received $1 million. He's waiting on another 3.7 million in commissions, and he's got another 10 million in the pipeline. That's all that he does. It's got 2-year lifespan. That's it. That's it. So I am sitting here thinking, well, when's the last time I had $1 million opportunity come by and I put it up? Well, let me count the ways. And the whole thing about this is that I'm not talking about a network marketing scheme. It's not a pyramid. It's not all these things. Believe me, I was in the network marketing industry for 20 years, so I understand that. And how it's not a scheme for the right people, okay? But there's no pyramid involved. This is actually just accountants and CPAs and lawyers doing the right job, and you making money for turning that on. I was talking to Michael a little bit and thinking, wow, what a great opportunity for lead gen. So there's a simple script. This is what I was shared with me that I share with others. And then I'm going to put this screen up because I'm not going to see it because you're going to take it down. But if you know any companies with 5 or more W-2 employees, please refer them to me. And if you want to get involved, then please talk to me and can help you become a referral partner. So any questions?
You're a real entrepreneur. It doesn't cost you a penny. You're just using your brain. Great concept.
You had to make a guess, how many companies are unaware of this?
Well, there's 6 million businesses that fit the base qualification. 1 million have been facilitated. Have applied, whether they've been succeeded or denied. So that's 5 million companies, and we have 2 years to go out and get them. Now, Bottom Line Concepts has signed up Grant Cardone. They've signed up Tony Robbins. They've signed up the huge players, and it's going to start getting really busy in that world. But I feel like, even though 13,000 companies have been helped by Bottom Line and 1 million companies already out there, how many companies sit here in Orange and Seminole County that have the restaurants that, a restaurant is probably the easiest pick that there is, because they guaranteed they qualify because they had to change their hours. And so I think, some restaurants have 100 employees. Well, 100 employees times $10,000.
$5,000.
No, seriously, that's 10 million bucks. Okay, and your commission on that is $1 million. There's people out there making this kind of money on the commissions. So, yeah.
Sad part is that places like Morgan & Morgan, who could still work remotely, are still collecting this money for their employees, right? And their business is now
once you
shut
go
down.
500 employees, it's a whole different game. They can still make this work. This is mainly for the small business. So a small business by the government is 500 or fewer employees.
Does this money have to be paid back?
No, it's grant.
But it's expiring soon, right? There's a limit to this.
2 years.
From today?
2 years left, or like maybe 18 months. They just extended the deadline. So it's got a lifespan. So please don't be offended that I shared something where you can go out and actually make money. When I talk to people, they're like, oh, well, how dare you talk to me about that? I'm working on my business. This is a complete side business for me. This is not my primary gig.
Just a point of information. So online, it does say there's 2 deadlines. For the quarters of 2020, the deadline is April 15th of 2024. And for all quarters of 2021, the deadline is April 15th, 2025.
Right. They just extended those. So it was 2023 and 2024. So now it's 2024 and 2025. Did you have a question?
No.
Oh,
Chris does.
Doing a good job.
yeah.
Chris,
Scott, thank you so much. This is really slick. I haven't heard about it. Appreciate you sharing the opportunity to generate some revenues. I am curious though, my wife has a 4-person business and I would think she would enjoy something like this. Do you know why there's a 5-person limit?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I am not the expert. And this is one of the keys about this whole program is that you don't have to be an expert at all, because what you do is you set somebody up for a consultation with Bottom Line. It's just all we are doing is lead gen. And when you set them up for Bottom Line, then you're going to be able to have Control-Alt-Shift-8. H, there we go. Once you set them up, then they answer all the questions. People will say, oh, I've already tried and I don't qualify. They've actually relaxed the qualifications. Okay, so everything is different, but yet all this money is out there. And there's companies out there that charge 10 to 15% to do it, okay? Commission instead of the 20 to 30%. Because Bottom Line is 20 to 30%, average about 25%. But I'm gonna go with someone that if you get audited, they will provide every single thing that they did to make sure that you are safe in an audit. And once again, the list of their clients kind of is credibility in and of itself, because these people have trusted them And if you notice, Jackson Hewitt, the tax firm, just doing taxes doesn't mean that you're going to be an expert in ERC. How many different fortes in the accounting world are there?
Yeah, there are a lot.
Yeah.
Listen, I appreciate your presentation today. Totally phenomenal. You've already got my submission. I've already emailed you and you got my submission. But I do have a question. Let's say we send a referral or 10 referrals. They go through the process and they qualify, right? And that happens, what's that time frame? And then once they qualify, how potentially soon could they receive this money back?
You are moving at the speed of government.
Forever.
So this is not money in your pocket next week money,
Yeah.
okay? But there are people that it takes anywhere from a couple months to 6 months to have the money come in. But I mean, they are expediting things, and that's another reason to work with a credible company that knows exactly what they're doing. So that's a question that they can't even answer for me. I've asked. So.
To reinforce the ERP program, not necessarily bottom line, but I have a good friend, my business partner, runs is the business manager for Sleuth's Mr. Dinner Theater over on International Drive, and he did this himself. Now he's brilliant and able to do these sort of things, but the amount of hoops that he went through, it did take him months to put it all together. And he was successful with it after doing the PPP, after doing the shuttered venue, which, a number of restaurants were able to
Right.
But this, he was able to get, I think, for 30 employees, so he was able to get, $250,000 plus with that. So
It's legit.
it's legit. I mean,
Yeah.
this is really happening. And if this is a company that is,
I would feel bad if I didn't share this with people because, I know that CEOs, I've consulted with network marketing companies. I know CEOs, I know founders, and I know all these different things. And you always hear about these get rich quick schemes. And for once, this isn't one.
Do you have clients in the whole process?
Personally, I just got started and I just just finished doing my due diligence. Okay, I've been on some calls with some of the principals and bottom line concepts. And so I just finished my due diligence. I didn't want to go out and do anything until I was for sure that they were for real and that the whole system was for real. So that's so not yet.
Right, no, that's good.
So
I'm just trying to understand the logistics of it. So, someone become an affiliate,
right.
and
Referral partner is what they call it.
Referral partner, and that's through you or?
Yes, so I'm as a referral partner.
Right.
I sign you up as a referral partner.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we give you a lead.
You will have your own link. You'll have, so you go to a restaurant owner. You work with CEOs, you work with business owners, you don't work with anybody else. You go to the restaurant owner and say, hey, listen, I work with a company that is the second largest company in the country doing this. And they help you qualify and dot all the I's, cross all the T's. All you do is you go to this page here and you fill out this information. Okay. So the business owner does. So business owner's first, last name, email, phone number, legal business name, number of W-2 employees, industry. Okay. Then they'll take you through to a Calendly link and you'll schedule a call with bottom line concepts. They'll ask you to repeat some of the information, and that is your job. Once they hit submit, can't see it here. I just schedule event. Once they hit that schedule event, now that call is scheduled. You have a back office portal that you can watch the progress of that client. It's just through Pipedrive CRM, Pipeline or Pipedrive. So that's the entire job that you have, and for that you get 10% commission.
And that commission comes from where?
Out of their money. You don't get money. It's all contingency based.
Right.
There's no money, anything until.
So if I refer somebody that gets $1 million, I get 10% of that
right.
from them.
Right.
Okay.
And because I referred you as the referral partner,
Right.
I get,
Another.
you know, if you get,
Five of mine or
if you get 100,000, I get 50,000. Extra,
of my 100?
out of your 100,
Oh, okay,
it's on top of that.
okay.
Quick question, when you mentioned you walk up to a business owner and you say, I have this company, what is this company? Am I saying I have an accounting firm that specializes?
I partner with Bottom Line Concepts.
And who is Bottom Line Concept?
You can look them up. They,
They're like a
No, you-
cost reduction company.
they're a tax recovery agency.
Yeah.
Okay, if I had my computer, I could bring up their website.
Okay.
You do not want to go through their website to set up, you want to go through your own affiliate link.
Yeah.
Okay, because you can go to Bottom Line and sign up, but then I won't, we're not working together. Okay, use the referral link that I gave you, and then on their resources page, they have schedules that you have to fill out. My partner that I signed up with, I went through a process and they've streamlined it completely. So everything is much simpler.
Can you put that referral link?
Yes, referral link. Okay,
That right there, I had a question on who's making the call? You or?
this is the business owner's information.
Yeah, but when you went to the one where you're making a call, is that you talking or is it the client?
The client,
Client is talking.
client's talking directly to Bottom Line. You don't have to know anything.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't
So-
know who was on the call.
Referral link. Okay, does this go to, I gotta remember which one this goes to, because I have two different QR codes.
It goes to the employee retention credit.
Okay, so that is to have somebody sign up under me, okay? So if you want to become a referral partner, that's not the case. This is the code right here. But you want us going to become a referral partner.
Now, can we get other people to refer as like you do?
Yes, if you want to become a referral partner, it takes a few days for you to get your referral partner link. Okay, and then I'm out of pay plan, okay, because it's a one level affiliate, which is fine. No, all the way up. So,
Right.
so it's a one level affiliate program, which is, you know, if I help you guys, I'm gonna get help one way or the other, so.
So you did post the answer, but what else is there anything else as a community that we can do for you?
Yes, answer this one question for me. How did I do with presenting this? This is the first presentation I've made on this. I just finished my due diligence. Did I come across credible? Did I come across knowledgeable on what I'm doing?
It was excellent. You did great.
To Chamber of Commerce and do this presentation, you know, all these things, because this is something that I'll spend 20 extra hours a week. I'll find time out of my schedule, because if I can earn a few million, then it becomes my startup pretty good, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Then you can back that into the donuts.
There we go.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
If I get somebody, I'm buying you a
All right, so we are still looking for speakers for next week. So if you have not applied, we can get you in for next week. 1millioncups.com/Orlando. Once you get there, there's a big present button right at the very top of the screen. Just click it, fill out the form, we'll get you in the system. You can schedule yourself for next week. And otherwise, we will see you in 167 hours. Thank you very much.